Hello and welcome to our first episode of AUCTV in the fall season of 2020. I am Jamil Nanji, and on today's episode we have our correspondents in and around Egypt covering stories that may catch you by surprise. Also, later in the show, we have Dr. Hoda Mustafa, the Director of the Center of Learning and Teaching at AUC, to talk about the COVID-19 pandemic and how the university is coping so far. But for now, let's start off the show with our first report. The harsh effects were felt in every corner of the world after the outbreak of the coronavirus earlier this year. However, some found this as an opportunity to rise above the situation. In this report, I spoke to entrepreneurs on the impact of COVID-19 on startups and small businesses. Take a look. Author and writer Dr. Robert H. Schuller said, "Tough times never last, but tough people do." This statement acted as a testament to all of us during the outbreak of the coronavirus this year. The globe was almost at a standstill in March earlier this year, with businesses, schools, service industries, and people suffering the same fate. It's been 6 months since the pandemic was declared, and during that time, many individuals saw this as an opportunity. Entrepreneurs come up with business ideas that arise as a result of a gap in the market, and they can capitalize on this and make their business profitable. Meet Khalid Zakaria, an entrepreneur who is currently pursuing his MBA degree at AUC. He was affected by the COVID-19 pandemic as well as his business. Let's find out how he coped.
It had its negative effects at the beginning. For the first couple of months, a lot of people sat at home, including myself. We couldn't do much about this, but then I started to self-learn some things, how to develop websites and so on, and then started another company actually in the fashion industry.
Khalid has worked at AUC, later on at a bank, and then he started his own tourism company. And now he is about to launch a new fashion line, all of which is done digitally. Many of us worked from home and tried to learn something new. Khalid did the same, but he is monetizing his skills and found a gap in the market.
I did start the whole company from the comfort of my home, actually, and I had development, graphic designers, fashion models, even products themselves, agreements, everything with the suppliers, everything now is digital. I didn't have to leave home because of the coronavirus for much of the time to establish this company. So I see digital will take a greater part, of course, in our lives in the future. There will be more automation, there will be more replacement of human labor with digital. But for developing countries, like for example Egypt, it will still take a longer time because labor is much cheaper than digital aspect.
Sometimes we find it difficult to motivate ourselves. It can be depressing, lonely, and maybe boring. But for Khalid, business after business, he has the drive and passion to push on.
I think the key thing was adaptability, because the thing that I learned from life is change is constant. That's the only constant that will be. There will be circumstances that don't go along the way as you plan. So I had to change. It takes time to adapt, of course, to learn new things. It takes a lot of time to actually learn new industries, new technologies, and so on. But then to be honest, I did have the time because of the tourism not doing so well. And then the coronavirus came and gave us that time, actually that gift. At the beginning, I need to be honest about this, but one of my friends was the one who told me, you have a special gift now, the special gift of time, use this wisely. And since then I did, actually. Instead of watching just Netflix for the first couple of months, I thought, all right, let's do something with this. Instead of just waiting for the vaccine, let's use this. So you get little hints of inspiration from here and there.
An American inventor and businessman once said, "I have never failed, but there are 10,000 ways that it didn't work." This is the life of an entrepreneur. Like Khalid, he tried and tried, but failed. But what inspired him to move from the tourism industry into the fashion world just in one pandemic?
The gap came from the fact that has been a lot of fast fashion. Like for example, I don't know if I can mention names, but we know that like shops like Zara, H&M, and so on, they produce a lot of fast fashion products where you could wear them for a year and then that's it. It will get torn down or wear out. This is this is basically against, if someone's understands a bit environmentally friendly or fashion sustainability, this is bad for the environment basically. If you produce something that lasts a long time, that's better for the planet, because then you don't have to produce a lot of it and waste a lot of resources, because statistically speaking 85% of all clothes that you see around you go to landfills at the end, therefore being a burden on this planet. So this is where I found a different edge to the fashion industry, a made-to-order business model, where basically if you like something on our website, you see it, it gets made from scratch from the beginning just for you.
COVID-19 limited us to do our day-to-day activities. However, it also presented itself as an opportunity for people who found their passions and pursued them over these last few months. If you have your passion, I guess it's time you act upon it. This is Jamil Nanji, AUCTV, New Cairo. COVID-19 has affected most of the businesses. Let's see how the food outlets at AUC got affected and how their owners managed to deal with the situation. More on this with Mirna Abuaita.
The American University in Cairo is famous by its variety of its food outlets, from snacks to fast food to cooked meals and to even coffee outlets. However, after the presence of coronavirus, most of the businesses in the university got affected, especially the food outlets. They were closed from March 2020 till August 2020, and some chose to remain closed.
الجامعة الصراحة ادتنا الاوبشن ده، قالت لنا دول فاتحين والمستر عيطوا يعني فاتحين يعني، فبلاش يعني خليكوا لغاية لو الموضوع اتغير، لو الوضع اتغير تعالوا افتحوا. We have a contract موجود ولسه valid وكل حاجة، بس يعني it will be a waste يعني.
Most of the business owners reached out to the conclusion of laying off people.
بس احنا قافلين من نص 3، فاحنا حاولنا في الشهور اللي بعد كده ان احنا نسبورت الناس وان احنا نعدي الموضوع، بس وصلنا عند مرحلة معينة ان احنا ما عندناش القدرة ان احنا نعمل كده، especially ان احنا مش عارفين الجامعات راجعة ولا لا، الموضوع هيكمل اونلاين ولا لا. فوصلنا عند شهر 5 أو 6 يعني خلاص مش عارفين ومش قادرين ومش عارفين نقعد مع الناس نعمل ايه يعني. والفكرة ان كل جامعة ليها التيم بتاعها منفصل عن اي حاجة تانية، فمالوش استخدام تاني يعني. فكان القرار ان احنا هنمشي ناس، وفعلا مشينا ناس كتير يعني.
The food outlets that it chose to open must abide to the safety precautions and the new regulations after coronavirus.
اللي موجودين لحد 10%، واحنا بطاقة تشغيلية 10%. هو في تزايد، بس تزايد تدريجي وبطيء يعني في الأعداد اللي موجودة، يعني لا يتخطى 10% من قوة الجامعة كطلبة وكتشغيل بالنسبة لنا كمطعم تسيبه. بالنسبة لنا جميع الاحتياطات الخاصة بالصحة والسلامة اوريدي اللي كنا بنعملها من قبل كورونا. ثانيا دلوقتي ضاف عليها شخص موجود لمتابعة الحماية من فيروس كورونا، وأول حاجة بتتعمل قياس درجة الحرارة تقرير يومي، والاشتراطات كلها التطهير وتطهير الأسطح وتطهير الأيدي، وبالنسبة للتباعد كمان والالتزام بالماسك الكامل للفريق اللي موجود، وتقليل العدد اوريدي حماية بالنسبة لنا احنا، وقللنا عدد ساعات العمل كمان. في إرشادية من حاجات إرشادية من إدارة التغذية اللي موجودة. ثانيا الصحة والسلامة اللي موجودة في الجامعة عملوا لنا البارتيشنات اللي موجودة ديت اللي بين الجست والفريق العمل، وإشارات التباعد الاجتماعي والمطهرات اللي موجودة هنا، ودايما في إشراف على عدد اللي موجود وعلى بيتاخد كتقرير عن كل الأشخاص اللي موجودة.
Some of the food outlets are trying to cope to the new challenge they are facing. However, some others gave up, and others are starting new projects outside university to support their income. But the question is, when will this be back to normal?
The importance of keeping track with the ongoing pandemic is crucial to us all. And in the next report, you will know more about the COVID-19 contact tracing system that can be accessed through our smartphones with an internet connection, and what are the digital privacy concerns. More in the next report by Rehab.
With the start of this fall semester, the AUC is implementing new automated ways for contact tracing suspected and confirmed cases of COVID-19, moving from a manual mode to an automatic mode. But how this COVID-19 contact tracing system works, and does it invade our digital privacy, and what if some students want to exclude themselves from the system? To know more about this, follow us in this report.
Starting from September 14th, the university is using our mobile phone's connection to AUC Wi-Fi to improve the contact tracing system. The Wi-Fi connection will help locate general proximity to assist in the manual interview process. AUC said that the data will be treated in a confidential manner by the medical services staff and used solely for the purpose of identifying and informing those who were exposed to the virus. Producing the lists of people in proximity with a suspected COVID-19 case within 2 to 3 meters for more than 10 to 15 minutes, based on their Wi-Fi connections. But should we tolerate our location privacy, or we have to compromise for the public health?
I agree that the university should do a system like this in order to keep the corona cases controlled, especially that we're doing the 7% of the university students are going face-to-face. On the other hand, I don't agree because something like this should invade our privacy, and I don't feel secure at all that the university knows my location every second.
I don't think that to the extent the administration specified it is an invasion of privacy, but we don't know if that's everything that's happening. If the university has access to the websites we access or any other information, then for sure that would be an invasion of privacy.
I think it's good for the public health, since people can, the university can track all the coronavirus cases and notify me if I was in contact with anyone that has corona. And I think it invades my privacy because the university having a safe data of where I am or what I'm doing and who I'm contacting.
I think it is good, and I'm okay with it, because I think we need to compromise, especially during a crisis like COVID-19, for public good. But I'm afraid of the limitations of this system if it can track my browsing information.
AUC said that the data collected using Wi-Fi will not provide access to the private data, microphone, or camera, and also announced that they are following systems used at other international campuses like the Harvard, the University of Massachusetts, and the University of Alabama. This is true, but when we searched, we found that Harvard used TraceFi in a pilot program that ran from July 9th to September 9th this year. And Alabama built a pilot app to be downloaded optionally. Vice President for Digital Transformation Ayman Abdul Latif said that this system is not too different from the experience we sometimes get when we are going to Starbucks and all of a sudden we see on our phones text saying, "Starbucks welcomes you." It's all very transparent. The WHO also had some statements on the tracing systems. But what if you don't want to participate in this system? Opting out is possible by not turning on your Wi-Fi. If your phone is not logged onto Wi-Fi, your data will not be detected and you will not be included in the Wi-Fi tracing solution. But what if a student wants to use the Wi-Fi on campus and is willing to opt out of the tracing system? Till now, this is not possible. Rehab Ismail, AUCTV.
Ken Dhaka, an Egyptian project that endorses the art of upcycling waste. Now, through a group of women who utilize their artistic sense in crafting and making sustainable glass and plastic products. You can find out more in the following report with Nuran Noor.
في حاجات كتيرة في الزبالة احنا نقدر نشتغلها. في ناس كتيرة يتكسف ان هو يوطي عشان يجيب ازازة، يجيب كنزاية، يتكسف عشان يجيب ازازة بلاستيك.
Waste and lack of its proper management pose serious health and environmental problems. Egypt produces over 90 million tons of garbage each year, and only 1/3 of these wastes are collected. There has been many initiatives to offer solutions for waste management, including Kindaka, an eco-friendly project that employs the art of upcycling for glass and plastic waste.
Hello, I'm Catherine Eldawil Kost, and بقالي 13 سنة I'm here in Egypt. When I came here, it broke my heart when I saw that everybody is throwing everything in the same zibala and also even on the ground and so on. Then I wanted to start own project like upcycling with women, giving them the opportunity to generate income.
كنداكا في النوبة يعني اسم بيطلقوه على المرأة القوية الرزينة اللي هي المتفوقة في شغلها، المسؤولة، الحكيمة. إعادة التدوير في مصر قوي جدا، بس إعادة الاستعمال كأبسايكلينج كونسبت لسه مش موجود. احنا عايزين كده نحرك السوق، والسوق يبدأ يشوف وينافس، والناس تبدأ هي كمان كل واحد يفكر في المنتج اللي عنده زي يعيد تدويره جينز أو قماش أو اللي عنده.
Kindaka works to collect used bottles and fills them with lights to create impressive products with an Arabic artistic touch. After the glass is collected, Kindaka women start working their magic. There are 4 stages for glass upcycling: washing, cutting, polishing, and sanding.
أول الغسيل بنغسل نشيل الستيكر، بنخلي الإزازة نظيفة زي الفل. المرحلة الثانية القص، بنحدد بالقلم، بعدين بنقص بالنار، وبعدين بنسيبها لما تبرد عشان ما تتكسرش لو جت عليها مية، وبعديها صنفرة داخلية عشان ننعم الكوباية من جوه.
أنا أكتر حاجة بحبها الفانوس والشفشق، بحب أعملهم يعني حتى مراحلهم كويسة وسهلة يعني. ما بنهدرش من الازازه نفسها، قسم بيروح فانوس وقسم بيروح كوبايه. وكنداكا اصلا وصلتني برضو لحاجات مهمه في حياتي، يعني انا اصلا بحب الغناء، ابتديت ان انا جبت جيتار وابتديت اتعلم عليه العزف، يعني ادتني افكار كمان ان انا انميها في نفسي.
As Kindaka aims to breathe a new life into the glass waste in Egypt, the project hopes to continue raising awareness on how upcycling can be a low-cost and artistically innovative option.
أنا أول حاجة أنا كنت ربة منزل، ما كنتش بشتغل، ما كانش عندي فكرة خالص عن الشغل، كانش عندي فكرة عن موضوع الإزاز ده، ما كانش عندي فكرة إن إحنا ممكن بنرمي الزبالة اللي إحنا بنرميها، إن إحنا نطلع منها حاجات كويسة، يعني زي التحف وزي الكوبايات وزي الحاجات الكتير اللي إحنا بنطلعها دي. يعني أنا في بيتي ما بقتش أرمي حاجة لما أشوفها ليها لازمة ممكن أطلع منها حاجة أستفيد بيها ولا لأ.
طب انت كل شويه دلوقتي بتيجي تقول لي ده هعيد استعماله ازاي، حتى بتخلص اللبانه تقول طب ده يقول لها مش للدرجه دي، مش عارفه يعني. مرات بتمسكني كده في اجوبه مش بعرف ارد.
Waste management requires a collaborative effort between the government and the private sector to endorse solutions that are necessary to properly manage these systems. Nuran Noor, AUCTV.
There's an Egyptian family that has been raising snakes and reptiles for over 200 years in Giza city. And that is how this family makes a living out of it. Menna Farouk has more in the following report.
In a small village in Giza city, an Egyptian man is living with the snakes, chameleons, and other reptiles, and is making an exhibition for them in his house. Salah Tolba has inherited the passion from his family, who has the oldest history of raising reptiles in the country.
أنا صلاح مهدي عبد العاطي طلبة، الشهرة صلاح طلبة. بنشتغل في الحيوانات فوق ال 200 سنة وخدناها وراثة أبا عن جدا. هي شغلانة غريبة جدا من نوعها ومتعبة ومش مربحة، بس هو زي ما تقولي وراثة أبا عن جدا، ما عندناش غيرها فحبناها، وزي ما بنحببها لأحفادنا احنا حبناها واحنا أطفال، لأن فيها نوع بيعلم الشجاعة. يعني الطفل لما يمسك تعبان حاجة كبيرة عنده، أو زمان كان لما جدودي الله يرحمهم كانوا يجوا يمسكوا تعبان الناس يقولوا الناس ماسكة تعبان، الجماعة ده قلبهم جامد. وجدا أنا عندي 54 سنة، جدي الله يرحمه دلوقتي عنده 107، أبويا 80 سنة موجود بس مريض ربنا يشفيه. كنت أشوفهم زمان يحطوا التعبين في أكياس قماش تحت السرير، تحت كنبة، في صفيحة فوق السطح، في صندوق خشب، وحبينها رغم ان هم ما عندهمش اماكن لعين الحيوانات او مشالها، فبس راغبين الشغلانه على انها ايه، برضه بنرجع ونقول بتخدم البحث العلمي. زمان كان متوقف عليها الكليات العلوم والطب، فبيبقى شرف لنا ان احنا بنساعد الدكاتره في ابحاثاتهم. بناخد اجر بس اجر رمزي.
Dealing with all kinds of snakes, Tolba said that the most dangerous of them all is the Egyptian cobra. To hunt the Egyptian cobra, the Tolba family uses specific techniques in order to avoid getting attacked, as they describe it as deadly.
ودايما حضرتك التعابين في مصر 37 نوع، يقال من 37 ل 36 نوع، منهم 7 سمين فيهم سم ممكن اعدهم لك، ومنهم 29 غير سم التعابين اللي هي العاديه. التعابين اللي هي السامه اكثرهم خطوره الكوبرا المصريه اللي هي ايجيبشن كوبرا، اسمها ناجا هاجا لاتينين. يتليها بعد كده التعبان البرديل والترنيسي ايجيبتيكس، يسكن سينا، يسكن السويس، البحر الاحمر. يتليها الحيه المقرنه اللي هي السيراستس بيبرا، سيراستس هورند اللي هي هورند بيبرا. الحيه القرعه، الحيه المقرنه الغريبه الحمراء، الغريبه السوداء، التعبان البخاخ. هنا دول السبع انواع. باقي التعابين العاديه بتسكن المنازل. معلومه لاي حد في الدنيا، انا بقولها له معلومه عامه للعالم كله، لمصر مش للعالم كله. التعبان اللي سكن بيت وفيه روح وناس عايشه هو التعبان سكن مع ناس، ده غير سم من عند ربنا. دايما الكوبرا المصريه جدودنا وابهاتنا علمونا لما نمسكها يكون معانا عصايه، واحنا بنعتبرها عزرائيل. مبدئيا الكوبرا انا بعتبرها عزرائيل. خطورتها عندي انا في مكاني او في شغلنا اخطر من الاسد. الاسد لما بيغلط بيعض واحد يعوره، لو رشين عليه ميه بيسيبه، لو مسكناه بالشوكه وزغدناه يسيب الفريسه. انما الكوبرا احنا بنسميها عزرائيل لان العضه بتاعتها عضه بموتة.
Adding to the special character of their trait, the Tolba family has its own language. They call it Haja Naja, which is the Latin scientific name of the Egyptian cobra.
دي واخدينها من ابهاتنا وجدودنا. يعني كانوا زمان ابهاتنا لما يطلعوا يسافروا في البلاد ويصطادوا، ويجي يتكلم قدام واحد في بيته، مش هينفع اقول للي معاه تعالى اقول لك كلمه وارجع بره. لا، هو بيقول له ايه، يعني عايزين نقعد مثلا في بيت الراجل ده واحنا قاعدين نقول كلمه، نقول ايه؟ لا دياجيل لا بخجيل، مش لا دياجيب لو كجيل. يعني هو بيقول له الراجل اللي احنا في بيته راجل بخيل مش هيجيب اكل، فما ينفعش يقولها له مباشر، ده بيقولها للي معاه بس.
The Tolba family does not only raise snakes and reptiles, but also exports them to many countries across the world, including Germany, Italy, the US, among others.
هو كنا زمان نورد التعابين والعقارب صحية للمص واللقاح. الكلام ده من فوق 20 سنة، لحد 5 سنين فاتوا بس. نورد العربه والتعبان ونرجع نروح نحلبها لهم وناخد اجر، نحلب 200 300 تعبان 1000 عربه وناخد اجر. برضو الشباب عندنا متعلمين والعلم والنت ما خلاش، فراسلنا ناس بره وبدانا بدل ما نودي التعبين صاحيه والعارب صاحيه، لا بنحلب الفانمس اللي هو سم التعبان منها ونجففه ببودره ونصدره بره، والتعبان يفضل عندنا ونوكله مره واتنين وناخد سم منه مره واتنين. فكل مدى في تطور في المهنه. التعبين في مصر عامه بتبدا من 50 جنيه اللي هي التعابين المصريه، من سعر من 50 جنيه ممكن لحد مثلا 200 جنيه. في نوع بيوصل 200 جنيه اللي هو التعبان الارقم غير سامه. اما التعابين السامه في التعبان البرجيل اللي هو والتر نسي ايجيبتس اللي هو الاسود يسكن سينا، قليل من نوعيته شويه. الحته بتعملها في حدود 4000 جنيه تعبان الواحد 4000. بس ده مش اي حد ياخده، بياخدوه كليات العلوم والطب والمص واللقاح، بياخدوا عشان يستخرج منه سم. طموحي اعمل حديقه حيوان انافس العالم. الوقت يا فندم حدائق الحيوان في العالم بتنافس بعضها بالجوده، بالحيوان بيلعب على مرجحه، حيوان عايش في شلال ميه، حيوان بيلعب مع الاطفال. الزائرين مش يتفرجوا بس، الزائرين يمسك الحيوان بايده. هو ده طموحي في الدنيا.
In ancient Egypt, snakes were both revered and feared, but the Tolba family is trying to build a new connection with the moving reptiles and pass it on to generations to come. This is Menna Farouk from AUCTV.
Energy Palace is considered the top place in Egypt for specialized environmental hospitalization. Energy pyramids, saltwater pools, a relaxing maze, a salt cave are all different sources of energy. Know more in the upcoming report with Sarah Sadiq.
It's located in Abur city, in a peaceful, calm green area far away from noise and pollution. Dr. Hani Badr set up his unique place, Energy Palace, in that unique area. Once you enter the place, you will feel comfort comes out from the surroundings of natural flowers, natural fish lake, and the large green area with different kinds of trees.
هنتكلم عن جزء الاستشفاء البيئي الأول. عبارة عن الكهف وملح، وعبارة عن حمام سباحة مالح مش موجود، مش متداول في القاهرة عامة. هرم الطاقة، في طبعا حاجات تاني زي الإيكوزا، ده شكل عبارة هو اسمه إيكوزا، ده شكل مجموعة مثلثات برضو دي وظيفتها بتدي طاقة. هنبدأ دلوقتي معاكم بهرم الطاقة. الهرم دوت حابة أعرفكم إن هو زواياه ومقاساته كلها مطابقة للهرم الأكبر عشان يدي نفس الإفكت. وهو على فكرة الناس المتعارف عليه إنه الناس فاكرينه 4 أضلاع، لا هو 8 أضلاع. كل ضلع فيهم فيه دخلة صغيرة جدا ما تبانش قوي للناس، لكن هو يعتبر فعلا زي الهرم الأكبر بالظبط، وبيدي نفس الإفكت واتقاس وطلع إن هو فيه خمس طاقة الهرم الأكبر. كمان في ميزة في الهرم ان احنا مش حاطين فيه اي ميتالز، ما فيهوش اي معدن نهائي، ما فيهوش اي حاجه، مش معمول له حتى مش معمول بمسامير، هو عباره عن خشب بس. طبعا في حاجات اسرارها مع دكتور هاني، في حاجات هو دافن ايه تحتيه، طبعا دافن حاجات كتير تحتيه تزود الطاقه. الحاجه يعني هي مش حاجه باينه، هي حاجه واحده بس باينه للناس اللي هي كريستاله كبيره، وبرده دي مش جايبها من مصر، دي جايبها من بره.
The salt cave is another form of energy there. The cave itself is made of pure Siwa salt. Even the ceiling is made of salt with a special sound and light system to help in meditation and relaxation. There is another place inside the cave for the full body burial under the salt.
I like to come here every once a week. I want to talk about the Salt Cave. Salt Cave is very relaxing. I feel like I'm at the beach most of my times. It's very nice and entertaining when I play with the little toys that they offer in the room. And it's the chirping sounds are very calming when it comes to relaxing on the floor, or most of the times even the chairs. I also like to go in the pool. The pool is also very nice. I like to swim in it all the time. It's also as well as very relaxing.
نتكلم بقى عن حمام السباحة شوية. هو مش حمام سباحة عادي، حمام سباحة برضو فيه يعني ملح سيوي، والحقيقة ده بيفيد ناس كتيرة جدا. وعن تجارب والفترة اللي فاتت بيفيد اكتر من حاجه. اولا الناس اللي مش تعرف تعوم ده بيخفيف معاهم. الناس اللي هي بتتعب من حمام السباحه اللي فيه كلور، وده مش حلو. كلنا عارفين ان الكلور مش كويس صحيا، وبينزل طاقه على فكره في نفس الوقت. حمام السباحه بيطلع منه اكتف جدا، بيطلعوا في منتهى النشاط، لان الملح صحي مش مؤثر عليهم، بالعكس زودهم طاقه.
المكان ده is a very energetic happy place. أكتر حاجة بعملها هنا البسين. المية مالحة، فالمفروض بتطلع النيجاتيف انرجي من الجسم، وده فعلا اللي بحس بيه. عمري ما طلعت من البسين حاسة ان انا شايلة هم حاجة او في حاجة مضايقاني. It's as if I throw all my bad energy in the pool واطلع.
الشكل ده اسمه إيكوزا. الإيكوزا دي يعني هي مجموعة، هي إيكوزا يعني عدد معين من المثلثات. هي مجموعة مثلثات متلاحمة مع بعض عن تجارب. الشخص بيقعد فيها وبيلاقي نفسه طاقته عالية برضو، يعني قرب طاقة الهرم برضو، لكن مش زيها ولكن قرب الطاقة، ودي مش موجودة برضو في مصر.
The relaxing maze consists of a circle with black lines and white area to walk through. The goal is to start walking through the white areas until you reach the center. Then you continue to go out from the place you entered from. It helps also to relieve the stress.
المبنى الستايل بتاعه خالي من خرسانات تماما، وخالي وعبارة عن حوائط حاملة. حتى الحجر اللي فيه حجر طبيعية. واخترنا على فكرة كده في نفس الستايل المبنى. طبعا اخترنا له الأقبية علشان الطاقة بتاعته، لأن ده بيدي طاقة. حاجة تاني كمان برضو حاجة طبيعي، على الرغم من لما جينا ننفذه بعض الناس قالوا لا نوفر ونعمل شلال. الشلال حاجات صناعية كده، رفضنا وعملناه برضو أحجار طبيعية علشان يبقى المكان كله حاجات طبيعية وحاجات تدي طاقة في نفس الوقت. دايما بنبعد عن الحاجات الصناعية، لأن حتى الورد الصناعي احنا برضو ده مش حلو للطاقة برضو. عشان كده فضلنا حتى الحاجات الزينة اللي احنا جايبينها عبارة عن كل حاجات طبيعية. الزرع، الأشجار، اللون الخضرة نفسه ده بيدي طاقة كويسة. حتى الأشخاص لما بيخشوا بيرتاحوا جدا بسبب الموضوع ده، ان لقوا خضرة قدامهم بيرتاحوا. حتى الألوان زي ما انتم شايفين كده برضو في بعض أحجار احنا ملونينها مدينين عشان برضو الألوان كراحة نفسية. في حاجة اسمها برضو علاج بالألوان. في شخص ممكن يشوف ألوان يرتاح نفسيا قوي. على فكرة عايزة أقول لكم إن كل لون ليه علاج لمرض نفسه.
Besides the energy you will gain out of this beautiful place, you will feel peace of mind and relief.
Daily workforces, whether wage workers or self-employed, are amongst the groups most at risk for losing their jobs and incomes due to the spread of the coronavirus in Al Ghuraia region. Find out more in this report by Salma Ali.
Aurora,
يعني مش لاقيين نجيب لا مؤاخذه اكل العيال بسبب المرض ده.
يعني حتى انا لما كنت بسافر بعمل معرض بره اصبح غير مسموح ليا، لو في هنا ثوره كنت ممكن اخرج اعمل معرض بره.
كورونا وانا من غير كورونا، وانا ربنا عايز يصيبني بحاجه هيصيبني.
Mustafa Mirsali is one of the people whose job was affected by the spread of coronavirus pandemic. He makes handmade wooden barrels for seasoning, water, planting, and others for decoration in Al Ghouria street.
بيبقى خشب غشيم، احنا بنقسمه على المكن اللي عندنا، اطوال زي ما احنا عايزينها، طول متر، طول 70، بنقسمه على المقاسات بتاعتنا العاديه اللي احنا بنقسمها، طول 35 ولا طول 40 على حسب المقاس. بنجيبه من السوق من شارع درب سعاده هنا. معظم الشغل بيبقى في شهر رجب وشعبان. نزل المحلات السوبر ماركت والعطاره بياخدوا يوضبوا، بيفرش حاجات جديده، الكلام ده اثرت معانا شويه، بس هو الحمد لله برضه ادينا عايشين وبناكل وبنشرب رضا.
Not only the craft of making handmade wooden barrels that was affected by COVID-19, but also engraving wood for making umbrella stands, food platters, and antiques was affected too.
كورونا الحمد لله اللي شغال وعنده حراره في الشغل ما بيجيلوش الحاجات دي، وغير كده عنده صد رد، يعني يصد اي حاجه ما بيهموش الكلام ده. الوقف بقى الحال اللي احنا كنا بنقفل الساعه 6 و7 ولازم نلحق ونلم، دي صعبه كانت علينا يعني. الحال برضه وقف، الناس ما كانتش بتجيلنا كتير، ما كانوش بيوصلوا لنا، في عطل كتير قوي، بس انا على الشغل ما كان الناس بتخاف تشتغل وتخاف تجيب شغل وتخاف تصرف الفلوس، فكله قلقان، يعني يقول لك اللي عنده بيعه بقى، وكانوا بيخزنوا ولا يعني.
Abdessalam also suffered a lot during this pandemic, as his job was mainly depending on tourists.
شنط مصنوعات جلديه، منتجات خالد خليلي. بننزل في اسوان والاقصر والشرم والغردقه. كورونا يعني مش لاقيين نجيب لا مؤاخذه اكل العيال بسبب المرض ده. ربنا سبحانه وتعالى كويس اللي هو ادانا حاجه صغيره كده، امال لو ادانا حاجه كبيره كنا عملنا ايه؟ ده مش انا لوحدي، 90% من الشعب المصري مش عارف يجيب اكل اولاده.
And now to Al Khayyamiyya street, which is named for having various shops making handmade canvas.
بنعمل المنتجات اليدويه بالنسبه للشنط، بالنسبه للستائر البلكونات، بس اي حاجه متعرضه بالخام بالنسبه لها بنعملها. هو التاثير اللي حصل من الكورونا حصل على العالم كله، فشويه كده وشويه كده والدنيا بتمشي، وادينا برضك ايه بنكافح في الحياه وشغالين بامر الله. لا هو حاليا الجو باذن الله يعني بيبتدي بيتحسن شويه بشويه باذن الله. لكن الخياميه ليها اسس، ليها تصميمات، ليها تصميم اللوتس، التصميم الاسلامي، التصميم البيئي، التصميم الفرعوني. كل التصميمات دي تصميمات اساسيه ما نقدرش نخرج عن الاسس بتاعتها او القواعد الاساسيه بتاعتها، والابداع بيكون في ازاي من خلال الاسس والقواعد دي. تاثير الكورونا في البدايه زيه زي دلوقتي، بل يمكن دلوقتي اصعب عليا، لان الكلاينتس لسه ما جاش او المطارات معظمها لسه ما فتحش. لكن في فتره بدايه الكورونا كانت الدنيا كلها قافله وكلنا قاعدين في بيوتنا، لكن دلوقتي انا مضطر ان انا افتح واشغل عماله عشان ما اخسرهاش واصرف من جيبي ومفيش انتاج خارجي.
Coronavirus pandemic has been affecting all the people worldwide since it began spreading till now. It's recognized that daily workforce are the ones whom their jobs are affected the most by this virus. They have suffered many kinds of impacts as a result of this pandemic. One of the main consequences of COVID-19 is losing their jobs and reducing the working hours as well. Salma Ali, Al Ghouria, AUCTV.
And finally, every Friday and Sunday, a tremendous gathering of camels from variant African countries is seen at the camel market of Egypt. This market displays different species of camels to be used for different purposes. Our reporter Wala Ghanem has the details in the next report.
من علام الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام. ده جمل ليه آية حضرتك. يعني الجمل ده ليه آية أصلا. فدي محلل طبعا ذبحها وأكلها وكده يعني حضرتك.
High belief in camels' benefit. Here, the merchantmen are marketing their merchandise. In a space of 25 acres, thousands of different camel species are gathered from nearby African countries in Egypt every Friday and Sunday. This assemblage takes place in the largest market for camels in the Middle East, in Burkash, the center of Giza Governorate.
بتيجي من السودان مشحونة في عربيات تنزل منفذ الشلاتين اللي هو منفذ ايه الشلاتين تخش حلايب تيجي من حلايب لغاية الشلاتين جاي ماشية احنا نستلمها نعزلها كل واحد ليه مثلا 2500 لكذا لكذا تتعزل تخش المحجر المصري تتكوي وتتعلم وتاخد عينة الدم ونشحنوها ونجيبوها اللي جاي في مصر.
Mostly said that the Sudanese camels are the best. They are grazed upon natural grass that hasn't been yet plagued with insecticides. Consequently, the Sudanese camel's meat is the most delicious in taste and its milk is highly beneficial.
احنا عندنا هناك الحمد لله عندنا الشجار الإبل بتاكل الشجر طبعا جميع الشجر عندنا الشجر ده لما الإبل بتاكله طبعا لحم صحي شديد يعني عندنا بالصراحة بدون مؤاخذة الإبل حتى البول حكا يجوا من محل ياخذوه ويدوه يسقوا للإنسان هو يبقى كويس يعني كثير يعني وعند اللبن وعند اللحم حكا ذاته عنده طعمه يعني طعمه خاصة ليه؟ لأنه بتاكل في الشجر والشجر من جميع الأشكال طبعا.
Prices are variable according to the camel's age, size, and the purpose behind possessing it. For instance, its prices start from 5,000 till 65,000 Egyptian pounds per one. Also, it's noteworthy that the age of camel affects the duration of its cooking for eat.
اللي هو الجمل اللي هو الكبير اللي هو جافل خالص هياخد وقت، اما الصغير الجعود ما بياخدش وقت في السوى. العود الصغير ما بياخدش وقت في السوى. لا الجافل ده بالذات لا بتبقى فعلا تطول على البوتاجاز اللي جافل، اما الصغير صغير برضه.
It's remarkably noticed that one of the camel's forelegs is tied, but there is a reason behind that.
الجمال دي حضرتك جايه طبعا من وطن غير الوطن، يعني جايه من الدول من بره، جايه من السودان وجايه من حلايب وجايه من شلاتين. الجمال دي وجايه من جوبا وجايه من المغرب، فغريبه عن مصر. فطبعا بيعجلوا رجل الجمل، بيربطوا رجله لا مؤاخذه عشان ايه؟ يعرفوا يتحكموا فيه في بيعه وفي شرائه وفي تحميله. لكن هو لو ما اتربطش خالص فطبعا هيجري، ما حدش عارف يتلم عليه، هيبقى صعب. فبيربطوا رجله حضرتك لتسهيل البيع والشراء فيه والتحميل.
Camel's market is considered the largest market in Egypt and in the Middle East that encompasses one of the strongest and hardly controlled animals that has its lovers and supporters. Wala Ghanem, AUCTV.
That was an interesting sight to see. Thank you all to our reporters from the field. Coming up in the next segment, we have our guest, Dr. Hoda Mustafa, who will discuss AUC's transformation during a global pandemic. See you after the break. Welcome back to the show, and this is AUC TV. I am your host, Jamil Nanji. And joining us in studio today, we have the director of the CLT, which is the Center of Learning and Teaching at AUC, as well as the professor for practice, Dr. Hoda Mustafa.
Thank you, Jamal.
How has it been being the director? And also, how has your role as a professor for practice helped you throughout this situation?
So I've been the director at the Center for Learning and Teaching for the last 2 years. Since March 2020, COVID struck. And this, of course, has put the spotlight on our Center for Learning and Teaching. Not only a spotlight, but we are lucky to be the largest, the oldest Center for Learning and Teaching in the region. So this has given AUC an edge. We've been in the field of supporting faculty, supporting digital education, supporting faculty to design their courses, to look closely at how they teach in the classroom for a very long time. We've also been preparing faculty with educational technologies. So our faculty are in a place where we can build on what they already know. So when it came to March 2020, when we were asked to start preparing a contingency plan, we put together a plan to prepare faculty in a very short time. It took about 12 days to train over 500 faculty. It was face-to-face, it was on campus, and we trained them on the basic tools to get those courses up and running online and to pivot to what we were terming emergency remote teaching in a very, very short time. Faculty were able to come in and get trained on our learning management system, which is Blackboard. They were able to learn how to use Panopto, which is our lecture capture system, which allows for faculty to pre-record lectures to share those with students online. And also the university invested in Zoom, which allowed faculty to meet their students online, to hold their classes online, to engage with them online, and to give students a sense of continuity and to essentially save the spring semester. We were able to complete the spring semester successfully. Faculty were able to pick up where they left off after a short break to prepare, to reimagine how they're going to continue the semester. And that was a huge undertaking, not only on the part of CLT, but on the part of our faculty and our students as well. Our students are not online learners. Our faculty are not online teachers. So across the globe, I think this is not unique to AUC. Thousands of universities experience the same kind of rapid pivot to online learning and teaching. And I think it is a success story in a sense that we were able to complete the spring semester, run assessments online, and give our students a spring semester that I think we can be proud of.
Well, definitely. I'd like to congratulate you on your success to a certain extent that the transition from the spring semester from being on campus to online was quite smooth, and it was quite a challenge for many people to just adjust with the situation. Looking at these modalities that you've just mentioned for online learning, how do you feel this transition smoothly taken into the next step from March to now fall? Would you assess that this is going to be a futuristic plan for AUC?
Well, let's sort of take a step back. So when we were teaching online in the spring, this was due to the conditions we were in. COVID forced the university to have our students not be on campus, our faculty not be on campus. We had to run all our courses online. We had some time to prepare for the summer. The summer we had unprecedented numbers of students taking summer courses. We've created an online resource, a course for faculty to take. We ran a Summer Institute, which was a interactive workshop in which faculty who were planning to teach in the summer had an opportunity to take this workshop, learn some of the techniques and some of the tools and approaches to having engaging online learning. So all the summer faculty, over 80 of those faculty actually completed the summer training. And then the summer courses ran successfully. And then we had June, July, and August.
Right.
To prepare all our fall teaching faculty to teach in the fall online. The university made a decision very early on and announced it to the community that our semester would be nearly completely online with a low density campus, that only some courses would be offered in a partial face-to-face format, and those courses would be selective, and that faculty should prepare their courses for online. Over 540 faculty attended a Summer Institute. This again was an interactive workshop. They had access to a Blackboard course that had modules about how to design their course for online, how to build rapport and community in the online course, how to manage online office hours, how to conduct online assessments. So the resource itself had a lot of information for faculty. And finally, how to transform their face-to-face course or syllabus, essentially, to an online syllabus. This was done with the help of a superb team at CLT, working around the clock to support faculty. We had over, I think 400 consultations, whether it's on how to pre-record lectures and make them available to students, how to redesign assessments, how to redesign course activities, feedback on their syllabi. So we had, a lot of support for faculty over the summer, and faculty were able to share their syllabi with students early on before the semester started, and start the semester with the students having a sense of what to expect in the fall online semester. So I think a lot of proactive thinking, a lot of support for the faculty over the summer, a lot of planning in the background, of course, on the level of the institution, not only the center.
I see that CLT has been offering these courses way before Corona had even started, or during this pandemic.
Yes.
You have been focusing on teaching and educating your faculty and training them to a certain extent where even online shouldn't be a problem when face-to-face is not possible. Now we're at a point where the fall semester is at 90% capacity at online.
Yes, for the fall semester.
Which is, yes, and we're less than 10% is on face-to-face. What would you say are some of the challenges that the faculty faced, and how is CLT helping them cope with these challenges?
Well, for the faculty that are teaching purely online, a lot of the challenges are that faculty have not met their students face-to-face. So in the spring, we had 6 weeks of a regular semester, followed by a spring break where they had some time to prepare, and then online. A lot of faculty had that challenge of, how do I get to know my students? How do the students get to know each other? So there are a lot of resources available for how to build community online. Faculty used the Zoom platform to, for example, very simple example, to create breakout rooms, to create activities in which students can get to know each other in smaller groups, to have one-to-one meetings. So in the communities of what we call these communities of learning that happened in these workshops over the summer, there was a lot of exchange of ideas. So faculty members would come up with ideas to these challenges, and we had a specific session in the workshop, what's the challenge you're most concerned about in the fall? And one of them was, how do I get to know my students? Another one could be, how do I ensure that there's enough engagement in the class? So there was a lot of sharing of experiences and ideas. That was perhaps the highlight of the summer training, that faculty were sharing their ideas on how to engage their students online, using the technology in a way that best serves the students, not using the class time, the actual class time on Zoom, which we call the synchronous online learning time, just for lecturing, and to try and have some engagement, some interaction, online discussions together as a class or in small groups, working on projects together, working on activities, case studies. So there were lots of suggestions within each and every workshop, but also lots of suggestions within departments. So beyond what CLT was doing, a lot of departments and a lot of schools also worked in parallel with their own kinds of ideas on how they can build rapport with their students, engage their students in these classrooms, use the class time most effectively, and then also sharing the content, making sure that students have access to all the content they need on Blackboard, sharing pre-recorded lectures so that they can go back and look at these lectures again, review them before midterm. So these are some quick ideas of how faculty met these challenges. Of course, we do support them in any kind of technologies they need, in any kind of consultation. Like I mentioned, we did hundreds of consultations over the last 4 or 5 months to assist them, give them ideas, validate their ideas, give them new ideas. But again, the faculty have been working tirelessly, I think. And the amount of imagination and creativity that came out of this whole experience on the part of the faculty has really been inspiring, I have to say.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing journey for you and your team, Dr. Huda.
Yes, definitely. We've grown a lot as a team, and we've learned a lot. And I think CLT has become more visible. I don't think there is a faculty member on campus that doesn't know who we are.
Right. No.
Our faces have become very recognizable with Zoom. And also we got to know so many faculty that we had never met before. So getting to know everyone has been really rewarding as well.
In regards to the activities that you mentioned that the faculty use to have sessions and online classes as well, what activities or interactive sessions do the faculty implement within the CLT trainings? And in regards to that question, how is CLT managing for the students the entire week or month or semester on the screens? How do they manage the screen time?
Okay, so the first question I think is about, what kinds of ideas do we help faculty come up with for activities to do online with their students? Is that your
Indeed,
question?
yes. The interaction levels could be very hindered in terms of being face-to-face. You would be finding a way to easily interact with your students. But when you're online, you lack that personal space and touch with your students. So how do you overcome that?
Okay, well, this is perhaps, there are a lot of faculty who feel this way, who miss that personal connection with their students, the hum and the buzz in the classroom of activity and students meeting, the informal learning that happens before and after and in the library and all these things. But there are many ways in which you can build community in the classroom online. There are many ways in which you can build these interactive types of experiences online, whether synchronously or real time during your class, breaking their students into breakout rooms on Zoom, giving them activities to do, collaborating on, for example, group projects in any kind of collaborative platform such as Google Docs or Google Slides or whatever, but also having them collaborate asynchronously at their own time, at their own pace, whether it's through a social media channel, a back channel, so creating a WhatsApp group or a Slack group, whether it's having them have a discussion on a discussion board. So there are so many ways in which students can engage together as peers within the class that they're enrolled in, but also engage with their professor as well. So a lot of professors are having regular office hours, one-to-one, but also having group Q&A, having students log in once a week, having reviewed the material to ask all their questions, to go through problems together, to spend time with the teaching assistants. So there's no one size fits all, and we don't have a formula for how any one faculty member should do it. But like I said, there's a lot of creativity involved and a lot of trial and error and seeing what works with your students and being able to move a little out of your comfort zone. So I think most faculty, when you ask them, they feel a sense of excitement that they've tried something new and that they would be open to in the future continuing to teach a little bit online if they could, to incorporate more web enhanced teaching, to do a little more online learning, to incorporate some of the tools they learned about in their classroom. So it's widened the space that faculty are innovating in because it's a necessity, right? They had to do it, and they did it. So it was very. I think it's a self-validation that they could actually do it.
Well, I wish you the best of luck and to the entire team. But as the director of the Center of Learning and Teaching, is there anything that you'd like to share with the students, the faculty, or the entire AUC community from the CLT?
Well, not to sound kind of cliche, but I think we should embrace this as an opportunity. I think it's opened, at least at CLT, we see so many opportunities for our digital education initiative. We've been working in the area of online learning and teaching for quite a while now, whether it's designing courses for online delivery, whether it's designing entire programs for online delivery in, for example, the area of executive education, professional education, continuing education, but also to create opportunities for faculty who would like to explore teaching online, to create those opportunities for them. I think that a lot of students also are enjoying the flexibility of learning online, enjoying engaging with the different types of tools, the different technologies, the different levels of access. So being able to, for example, access class recordings when they just can't make it to class. When they have any kind of, a lot of our students, they play sports or they're heavily engaged in clubs. Having access to what's happening in the classroom beyond the classroom is of value. So that's also something. The digital artifact of what happens in the classroom, having that there in the learning management system, I think is also very important. And it just opens up the whole space for learning in different ways. Our students will be lifelong learners. Once they graduate, if they pursue postgraduate studies, if they don't, they may continue to learn through, taking online courses, maybe pursuing an online degree if they can't travel. So there are just so many opportunities. So it's a skill. Learning online, managing their time, self-motivation, intrinsic motivation, all of these things are really important.
Well, thank you so much for joining us in studio, Dr. Hoda Mustafa, the Director for the Center of Learning and Teaching at AUC. That's it for our first episode here on AUC TV. My name is Jamil Nanji. Until next time, be sure to watch AUC TV. Wear your mask, wash your hands, and social distance. Till next time, bye-bye.